Hello and congratulations, you have made it. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're joining us in the Founder Masterclass series, and welcome officially to session 1. So congratulations. This is just going to be the start of a really awesome adventure ahead. I'm just really glad here at Outsourced Doers, we get to walk you through this process, which very few people do, right? We get to make sure that your outsourcing journey, your results are as amazing as they can possibly be, right? And remember, when I'm talking results, I'm talking namely, you get more life in your business while still being able to grow it. Grow your revenue, grow your profit, right? So congratulations, you're in the right place. Just in case we haven't met yet, my name is Grace Lever. I'm the co-founder here of Outsourced Doers and also the founder of another business, The Doers Way. So I've built these businesses from the ground up. You may know what that looks like, going from that tiny little home office to today having generated over 50 million US in rev, probably closer to 60 now. So whether you're in startup stage or growth stage, or you're scaling like a million or multi-million dollar business, I get it. I've been there. I can totally relate. It's a pretty crazy ride, yeah? So in this first session, we're going to dive into the different parts of your business. We'll look at the startup stage, the growth stage, the scaling stage. We'll help you figure out which stage you're in and then show you the kinds of things that we should be working on in those stages. We're going to run a bit of an audit to see if you're currently operating as maybe a freelancer or maybe even an employee in your own business rather than a founder, because I was. Most of us are. So we'll learn the steps on how to stop doing that, how to actually start being a boss in a profitable lifestyle business, like a true founder. So firstly, the accountable leader. I used to struggle with this one so much, okay? I used to think that employees were out to get me. Like they were just rocking up with their hand out at the end of the week just to get their paycheck. They had no idea of the stress and the pressure and the responsibility, like the burden that I was wearing. And I'm going to keep it real here because that's the whole point of these masterclasses, right? Just in case anyone here has felt the same, I thought, this is bad, I'm going to say it out loud because I like to think that I've grown somewhat. I thought that staff members were a necessary evil to be able to grow my business, right? Like even to the point that I used to say on stage at my doing days, like I had 6,000 people attend events just here in Australia in the beginning. Someone reminded me who'd been to my doing day of this not long ago. I said on the stage, I said every event, I'm going to build this business, but I'm going to make sure that I never have more than 10 team members because I couldn't imagine having more people than that. And I remember I used to say it'd be just the most stressful thing in the world. Right? Because obviously I've been burned by team members before at that point. I've got to say that now I've got over 1,500 people on my payroll every single fortnight. So kind of got that one wrong. The problem with this is that I wasn't realizing that I had the power in this business to be able to work with people for good, right? To be able to pull together and build a team of loyal legends to help me grow the business and then eventually run the business for me. Like I've realized in hindsight, I didn't at the time, but I realize now I could be nothing without them. Like it'd be a fraction of what it is today. So me believing my staff were evil, my staff were out to get me and were this sort of unavoidable part of business, my goodness, that attitude impacts everything, right? It impacts the way you speak to your team. It impacts the way you respond to problems. It impacts the way you manage them. Like that impacts everything. And it's really hard. I'm going to say impossible to be a successful founder, a successful leader, like a really good boss, if that's your founder attitude, right? So it became pretty clear pretty fast that I was burning staff. No surprises there. It was pretty clear that I wasn't being an accountable leader. Because here's the thing, it's all based on this whole mentality. And I want you to consider this right now. Think about any experiences that you've had maybe with a team in the past, right? Whether it was your own business or whether you're back in corporate running a team. It's very different if you're running your own team because there's so much more. It's so much more personal. But the thing is that we've got to come from the approach when it comes to building your business of that it's not you, it's me. Like an example of this not too long ago when I was working with one of my team members and she was working on a particular project and I was briefing her and I said, hey, watch out for this particular thing. I know it's going to happen, so make sure you're aware of it. And she didn't do it, right? She didn't notice that thing in time and it went and she kind of did it anyway and it all blew up. And I realized I must have grown in this area because back in the old days, I would have got angry and upset. And like, it's okay to get frustrated in the moment, but the old me would have kept going down that path of blame and shame, right? The new me is the accountable leader and it realizes it's not you, it's me. Okay, we've got to take responsibility. I've either, as the boss, not given the right training or the right support or the right communication so they can do their job. That's my fault. Or if it's not one of those things, I've got the wrong person in the wrong role. Guess what? That's my fault. Right? Like the ability to take ownership of your business, to realize that because you, as the founder, the one who long-term gets all the wins, gets all the money, gets all the rewards of this, as you're in charge, you also have the ability to change things because you're in charge, to improve things, to make things better, to make decisions that will lead to a better result, right? So I sat down with this team member and I was like, you know what? I'm sorry you had to go through this, because like she was really upset with herself, right, that she'd let this happen. And I was like, you know what? I didn't put the right support around you to make sure you could do it. So I'm going to put these things in place because I can see the heart you got for the business. I truly believe you're capable of doing this. And I was like, I took it one step further. I was like, in time, this time next year, you're going to be leading a team of your own. I'm really confident of that. And surprise, surprise, that's now absolutely the case. Like this person's a weapon in our business. This person has their own team, heaps of responsibility. Like, can you imagine the loyalty that brings? Because here's the thing, we're all human. We all stuff up. She knew it. I didn't have to tell her. Like she was probably more frustrated in herself than I was. But being able to step into that accountable leader role, to be able to step up and say, oh, you know what? This is on me. That was such a big attitude, such a big mindset shift, right? So if a team member is hardworking and intelligent and stuffs up, my fault. I didn't lead them well. That's on me. If a team member is genuinely lazy or not capable of doing their job, also on me. I hired them, right? So that whole approach of it's not you, it's me, that's what we're going to adopt, you and I. We're going to stop blaming and shaming. I need to be able to have you step back. And yeah, you need to be able to know that if you've got the wrong person for the wrong job, totally. But a lot of the time, I've missed something. They don't have the resources, or they don't have the support, or they don't have the communication they need to do their job. I'm assuming, right? The other big thing that I've realized too is that everything is workoutable. Like if you've got problems in your business, don't think you're unique. It's actually a characteristic of a growing business. Like I promise you, we all go through this as entrepreneurs. And as entrepreneurs, our job title should literally be problem solver, right? Like all sorts of problems. And even now today, generating $60 million, it's still like our team, I don't do much of it anymore, but it's just solving problems every day. Marketing problems, staff problems, sales problems, product problems, tech problems. Like that's just our job. You and I as founders, we solve problems, right? I used to think that maybe because all I was doing was solving problems that I was doing something wrong. And then I realized that when problems happen, it's a sign we're growing, right? It doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. It means we're doing something new, something different. So there's no way to get to the other side, right? To get to the other side with this profitable lifestyle business on the other side. There's no way to go there without going through problems and solving them. It's not possible, okay? If you learn from other people like me, you can avoid a lot of the problems, but I want you to remove the pressure that you might be feeling around the fact that you're experiencing problems every day in your business. Just remove it. In time, we'll get your team members to fix all the problems for you so you don't have to touch any of them, which is pretty much where I'm at now. But don't worry, it's not forever, right? That's why you're here. There are going to be a few more problems we'll be solving while we get your team growing and up to speed. But if you've been burned in the past with teams, or this whole outsourcing thing in the past, it's normal. You're not a failure. We've just got to get it right this time. You've got to take responsibility. You've got to take accountability as the leader, as the boss of your business, okay? Everything is workoutable. If you want something to work, you'll make it happen. You just got to want it enough. And if you're at this point going, oh, I've just got so much on my plate and now I'm outsourcing and taking that next step, and I want to remind you, you've got to want it enough. Not necessarily you've got to want outsourcing. Like outsourcing is not very sexy. It's not outsourcing you want. It's what outsourcing will allow you to achieve, right? You want the business that's got both profit and lifestyle. You want the freedom. You want to stop doing all the low-level stuff that you should not be doing. You want to spend time with your family and not feel guilty about it. Like you want to provide an incredible life and future for your family and financial freedom. That's why we're doing this. It's got to be enough.